back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be going over my moves for this upcoming week and what to watch for. And we do have some pretty big things happening, and I also wanted to discuss last week's plays as well. But before we get into it, if you don't mind just dropping a like and hitting subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And check out the links in the description to the free Discord server, free stocks on Webull when you sign up and deposit $100, and also my merch if you guys want to support the channel. Now let's get into it. So last week, I decided to add to my long-term portfolio when we did have a bit of a sell-off, and I added C Limited because that thing dipped quite a bit, and I thought the price was pretty attractive, and it recovered, in the days to follow. Along with Teladoc Health, it was way oversold when we got the vaccine news. Apparently, people thought we wouldn't use telemedicine anymore, so that sold off to the low 170s, and I picked up a ton of shares there. Next up, we had LCA, and with the merger coming up, I think the price is pretty attractive, and I'm going to be holding this one long term. I think it can be like a DraftKings in the future, maybe even better. So I picked up some shares at around $12, and then I also picked up some Tattooed Chef. This is another one that I've been very bullish on, and this is in my lockup account. I'm not really worried about the price right now, but I do think, around that $17 range is very attractive. And last but not least, I picked up some Square Cash at $170. This is one that I see a bright future with, and although I do think we'll get some chances under 170, I will just continue to dollar cost average down. Now I want to tell you guys the swings that I got into. Okay, on to the swings. And for swing trades, I have no timeline on this. I'm willing to hold all of these companies that I've picked up for however long it takes. I'm a fan of all of them. So I picked up DocuSign because those stay-at-home stocks got beat down last week on vaccine news. So I picked up DocuSign at $200. It's only sitting around $205 right now, but like I said, I don't mind holding this for a while, especially as these cases pick up and these stay-at-home stocks will spike up. Next up, I bought Zoom at $375. This was way oversold on vaccine news, and it spiked back up to around $330. And then sold off towards the end of the week. So if Zoom goes to 400 or less, I'll likely buy some more because I do see this going to 450 plus in the coming weeks. Next up, I sold Wynn Resorts, and this was one that I talked about on the channel a few weeks ago when it was under $75, and I personally bought at 73, 70, and 69, so I was averaging down. And then we got that vaccine news, and it spiked up to over $100 just overnight, which was insane. So I obviously took the profits because then we got more news on cases and when sold down again. Keep in mind that this next wave of bad news will hit these recovery stocks once again, and to pick the best ones that you like. So I like Wynn Resorts, I like Disney. I'm not into airlines right now or cruise lines, but pick your favorite recovery stocks and just remember this. We had it on June 8th. We had it just recently, where any good news really lifts these stocks up drastically. So if you're patient, you can make a lot of money. So the next sell-off we have, keep that in mind. I also bought Beyond Meat. They had poor earnings and it's just an overreaction. I think this is a great company, and I bought the dip at 114 and 107. And then it just so happened that a couple YouTubers, Positive Investing and Jeremy from Financial Education, both made videos on Beyond Meat, I think the very next day. So it was positive in my eyes that I bought without even seeing these huge YouTubers' videos, and obviously they have quite an influence on the stock. So I think Beyond Meat will recover to 150 plus in the coming weeks and months. I also picked up some Rocket Mortgage, and this is mainly because I just feel like it's undervalued at the moment, and I see it going well over $22, especially because I believe they're doing a share buyback pretty soon here. And last up, I picked up Alibaba because, this is like the Amazon of China, and I see $300 plus in the coming weeks and months. I also intended to swing this, but I may end up holding it because I usually stay away from Chinese companies, but this is one that I do believe in. This and Neo are the ones that I like. I've always had issues just with the whole cooking the book thing, and I remember Luckin Coffee. But some of the price forecasts for Alibaba are absolutely insane, and I might just want to ride it out. I also want to mention that Alibaba did secure 2 important business deals and maintains its dominance in China. So this article says Chinese technology giant Alibaba announced that it will take control of the leading hypermarket chain Sun Art Retail, while its offshoot Ant Group has received the green light for its stock exchange listing in Hong Kong. So Alibaba will likely recover. I think it is way oversold, and I picked it up at $259. On to my options plays that I did last week, and I basically do a bit of a small account challenge. I don't like to play with too much money when it comes to options. So you'll see here that none of the profits are that impressive, but I did have a PLTR call, and I made a bit of money on that, along with a DraftKings spread, Teladoc spread, CGC call, a Neo call, an RH put spread, and a Fisker spread. So I will just throw up a link of how I track my gains and losses, so you can see that I came out on top the last 2 weeks actually. So it's been good. I like playing spreads and just using just a little bit of my money to play options with, because they are risky and it's never fun to lose a ton of money that you're not willing to lose. So keep that in mind when you're doing options. Never go all in. Make sure you scale in and manage your risk properly. So on watch for this week, we have Neo earnings coming up, and I know everyone knows that. So I'll be watching Neo very closely on Monday to see if we get some sort of a pullback or, volatility sell-off, and that could present a nice entry point. Now, I do predict that the stock is going to run up pre-earnings and then likely sell off post-earnings. I also don't usually hold any type of options through earnings because it's just very risky, and it can honestly go either way, whether they do good or not. And this causes IV crush, and it just ruins your contracts. So unless you're playing in the money or spreads, I usually stay away from options around earnings and just play shares. Next up, we have Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. Now, Virgin Galactic expects its commercial operations to, begin in Q1 of 2021 after these final test flights go through. So that's starting on November 19th or to November 23rd. It's just they gave us a range. So I'm playing this as it's happening November 19th. I'm playing the run-up on this. And if this is successful, there'll be one more test with 4 employees and then Richard Branson's flight in Q1 of 2021. So after Branson's flight, they will open sales for commercial flights and, start doing that. And both spaceships will be available for space flights. So personally, I think this is going to shoot up this week. And, I'm prepared to get into some call options. And if there's a sell-off, I'll add some shares for my long term. However, I will sell the news on this because good or bad, people usually take profits. Now, I hope everything goes well on this flight, but you just have to be careful and aware of, mistakes can happen and the stock would tank. So this is another sell the news play, and one that I would love to add to my long-term portfolio if there is a pullback, because in the next 5 years, I think this is going to be an amazing company. So that's pretty much what I'm watching. I'll also be thinking that tech is going to go higher this week since the sell-off, and a couple of them got beat down. And since cases are rising, I just think tech's going to go up, value stocks will go back down, and recovery plays will go back down. So keep that in mind. And any pullbacks I'll be adding to my long-term portfolio. I'll also be watching Fisker as they're supposed to announce something today. I haven't heard anything yet. And the stock has been on a nice rise. So we could see Fisker go over $20 this week on some good news. Depending on what they announce. It could be a new car model. I'm not sure. I'll be watching Palantir as well. If they sell off, I will add some shares to my long term. And apparently Boeing may get their FAA grounding order lifted. We'll see. That's rumored on November 18th, but nothing's for sure. And they have been on the rise lately. So that is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys are watching this week and what you're buying into. And if I missed anything, please like and subscribe and have a good one.
Getting money, I just went up in my style. Up in traffic, never lacking in a drop.